So here we are in standing. We're going to play around with the spine, but first, a few shoulder rolls. One direction and then the other. And then letting your neck draw a few Cheshire cat smiles. Maybe you roll your head back also. That's just up to what your neck thinks. And then taking your hands out in front of you, inhale brings the fingers up and exhale down. So we're flexing and extending at the wrists. Mhm. And then arms out to the side, same idea. So ooh, that one can be interesting. Fingers going up and down by moving at the wrists. I like to do inhale for the fingers up and exhale for them down. Good. And then a few rounds. Notice how the palms turn up as I get about to the shoulders. Inhale up and exhale down, turning the palms down when I get to my shoulders. You might have a slightly different pattern that feels good to you. This is what I learned from the therapeutics teacher out in LA who seemed to know everything. So I go with her. Next time your arms are up overhead, face your palms forward. And then same pattern with the wrists. Inhale brings your fingers, exhale brings them forward. So inhaling back and exhaling forward. And yeah, you can move your arms a little wider to let your shoulders settle so you're not shrugging up. Yeah, good. And then release your arms down, give them a little wiggle, and gently use one hand to, it's actually a forearm stretch, right? To bring your fingers towards your forearm to get a stretch through those muscles and other direction. I'm twisting my forearm around because it gets slightly different angles on the muscle fibers there. Yep. And then other hand, fingers back, different angles, and then fingers forward, I guess we'll say, finding different angles to get that forearm release. Good. All right. And a little shake out. And back to the spine. So remember, we went forward and back. So we're going to do that just lightly. Inhale, reaching the heart up, and exhale, curving. So just a small movement the first couple rounds. So it's a small happy bird, sad bird. It's a little baby chick sized happy bird, sad bird. And then starting to open up a little more so you can spread your wings and lift your heart. And then furl them in as your heart settles back. Good. One more. And back to center. And then let's go slowly so you can actually feel the licorice stick twisting of your spine as you turn side to side. Let your legs come along so it feels like your ankles, your knees, your hips are all turning a bit. But there's also definitely that licorice stick twisting, barber pole twisting, candy cane twisting through the spine. Two of those were seasonal, one was not. Yeah, good. Come on back to center. And let's leave the arms hanging to go side to side. So you can really just feel that nice, easy side stretch. side movement. It's making me close my eyes because I'm like, oh, this is what my spine wanted. Side to side. Yeah, this is a great way, the 6 directions of just checking out what's going on with your spine, where it might feel stiff, where you might need to coax it into some more movement. Good. And then let's take a little break, stepping the feet apart, bending your knees, either forearms to thighs, or come even more forward and just dangle. If you're dangling, you might even clasp opposite elbows and let your arms hang. Couple breaths there. Good. Come on back up. And we'll do the same thing one more time. So happy bird, sad bird a couple times, noticing how it feels to start the happy bird, sad bird now. And also notice that as you curl forward, you want to create lift through the front of your spine. It's counterintuitive. And as you unfurl backwards, you want to create lift along the back of your spine. So you're supporting the shape rather than letting it collapse. And then same thing for turning side to side. Imagine that you're lengthening your spine along both sides, right and left. And you'll notice I'm going a little faster this time. You don't have to. Just see what pace feels good to you. Turning side to side, imagining length through both sides of your spine. And then let's go ahead and let the arm participate, coming up into a side stretch. Breath or two there. Inhale takes you up and out, and over to the other side. Yep. Inhale takes you up and out. Good. Take a pause. So that might be a forward fold, or you might just stay as you are and close your eyes and breathe once or twice. Find that sense of the line of light along your spine. Good. And then the million directions of the spine. So you might leave your arms hanging and just play around with letting your spine move. Or you might let the arms come along, pretend you're painting the inside of a sphere. Just go with what feels helpful for your spine and for the rest of your body. You might notice that there are some directions that you favor and some that you don't, or there's a direction where you're like, oh, that's it. That's the stretch that I need. Feel free to stay there, right? If that's the thing. And eventually back to center. Good. And then a goddess pose. So you're going to turn sideways on your mat. So you're facing the long end. Step your legs wide. Your feet turn out the same direction as your knees. And arms mimic the legs. So here, your spine has a little more of an arc to it at the back, like right through the low back. That's fine. Just find what feels comfortable, what feels sustainable in this pose, right? What could you do so that it feels like you could stay here for 2 minutes and not hate me? Yeah, good. And then release your arms down, straighten your knees, turn your feet so they point forward. And Maybe soften your knees for a forward fold. So you might have knees softened, hands to thighs, or you might come further forward and just hang. You might let yourself sway from side to side. Some of you might want to clasp your hands behind your back and reach your knuckles up. And then come on back up and scoot your feet back together and shake out your legs. Let's take a lunge. So you're going to face the narrow end of your mat again. Left foot forward, let's say, and right foot back. Yeah. So just however it feels solid and comfortable to you to be standing in a lunge. The front knee is more or less above the heel. Here, sorry. And from there, you'll also notice that your back is arched a little bit. That's fine. Just imagine some support through the front and back of the spine, some muscular lift. Tip your torso forward, step your back leg up, and front leg back. So that front knee's over the ankle. And you're finding some support through the front and back of the spine. Not so much that you're stopping yourself from breathing or feeling like you're hugely sucking your belly button towards your spine. It's just some lift. Just enough so that your spine doesn't feel like it's being squashed. And then tip your torso forward, step that back leg up, give it a little wiggle. And then come back to the first side. So left foot forward, right foot back. And let's take a few rounds of inhale, bringing the arms up, and exhale, bringing them down. You might feel that there's this extra lift to your spine as your arms come up that just happens automatically because the arm bones are connected to the spine bones ultimately through all your muscles and fascia and whatnot. Next time your arms are up, leave them up. Couple breaths like that, imagining that easy support and length through the spine. And release your arms down, tip your torso forward, step your back leg up. Give it a little shake out and switch sides. So now the right foot is forward, left leg is back. And inhale brings the arms up. And exhale brings them down. And you're just noticing how do all of the fibers connect so that you feel that lift through your spine as the arms come up. And then a softening as the arms come down. Next time your arms are up, leave them there for a couple of breaths. And then release them down. Tip your torso forward, step your back leg up, and come back to neutral. And just pause. And from there, forward fold. Knees a little soft. You can do forearms to thighs or all the way down. Maybe clasping opposite elbows the different way from how you did last time, which is always a little tricky to figure out. And come on back up. I'll show you the elbow swap trick since I mentioned it. If you're holding opposite elbows, the only way I've ever figured out to get myself to reverse is to keep one hand holding and then to flip the other one around. You can do it either direction. Wasn't that fancy? Okay, coming back to standing, facing forward. We'll take a tree pose. Let's do hands together at the heart for the first one, just so it's easy. You can either leave the ball of your foot on the floor and have your heel just above your ankle, or maybe you have the foot just below the level of your knee, maybe just above. So a couple breaths of just balancing, settling in here. And release. Other side, so kickstand or just below the knee, or maybe just above. And release. You might stand still or you might wiggle it out. And then let's do a twisty tree. So you might want to grab something to balance with. I just made up that name. This isn't really a thing, but I really like the pose. So you lift one knee and take the opposite hand to it so you can turn. Notice that line of your spine. Can you imagine it still staying neutral and well supported, even as you're turning? And then back to neutral and other side. So the other leg lifts. You might need to turn so that you've still got your support. Can you still find the line of your spine even as everything else is going on? And release. Stillness or a wiggle. Last version here, we're going to do tree that's on a cliff. So it's your choice of whether to leave your hands at your heart or arms up overhead. Come back to your first side, find your tree, and then you know how trees on cliffs often go sideways. We're going to take the spine into a side curve. So not even really a stretch, just a curve. And if you really want to make your life hard, you can take your branches up also. If you notice that your ankle is working much harder now, yep. So is everybody else's probably. And release. Pause. Find your spine. And other side. Yeah, so kickstand or probably low. Let your spine take a curve to the side. Let it be nicely supported. Ooh, and maybe your branches come up. Good. Come on back to center. First pause. Find your spine again. Find your midline, that middle vertical column. And then give it a little wiggle. Spread your arms out to your sides. Keep your shoulders open here so you're not letting the shoulder head fall forward. And start to bring your hands back. If they happen to clasp at your back, you know, yay. But if not, no big deal. And from there, soften your knees, let yourself fold forward. So now you're the bird flying over the cliff. Come on, back up. Let your shoulders round forward and then open them up again. Reach your arms back. If they happen to interlace, let a different thumb be in front. And one more time, soften your knees, fold forward. And come on back up. Find your strap and come down onto your back.